Have you ever wondered how one moment can change everything in your life? On a silent night on a desolate road, an unexpected accident might happen, and in turn, a common situation in a moment of pure emotion. This is the story that I'm going to share with you. It's about loyalty, courage, and the bond that is unbreakable between a dog and their owner. Stay with me until the very end because that's all you're going to find out. Now you can surprise you in ways that you may never have experienced before. Just imagine an early morning quiet, the silence cut only by the sound of his own breathing and the roar away from the bike. In this scenario, a sudden action can change everything in seconds. A young woman riding her bike, with the hope of arriving in time, it will suddenly lose control, and on the road, silent becomes a scene of chaos. The hair loss is sudden and strong, and the impact it seems to have an effect for the entire scene. At this time, the vulnerability of the young man, it is clear he is hurt, scared, and help seems far away. And it was in this moment of danger to the story, you earn a tone, a lot more exciting. On the outside, on the back of a motorcycle adapted to a dog who had followed his master in a safe box, comes out unscathed from the accident. Without the injury, and the instinct for self-protection talks to him. Even in the face of all the tragedy, that he does not think twice, but what matters is to get to the side of his human, showing a loyalty that goes beyond any words. If you believe that this connection between humans and dogs, it's just a friendship, and get ready to be touched even more. This scene shows something that goes beyond a simple friendship, by showing that even in times of despair and the love of a dog, it becomes a powerful force, one that defies every expectation. And from there, the story only gets more and more intense. You'll understand why this loyalty has won the hearts of many, and became a symbol of protection and unconditional love. But before that, let me invite you to think of, and if I were with you? If this story has touched your heart, or did you bring something special and I want to invite you to share in the comments? You may have experienced something similar, or know of someone whose loyalty of a dog that was able to turn a bad situation into a lesson of love and affection. Your feedback is very important, as it will help you to create a more connected community and a space where we can exchange experiences and to strengthen our ties with these four-legged friends so much to teach. In addition to this, if you think this content is worth it, leave a like. This helps support the channel to grow and to keep bringing you stories that are inspiring, emotionally, and enhance the beauty of the relationship between humans and dogs. Each and every enjoy is a way of showing that you value this kind of narrative, one that celebrates the unconditional love and loyalty these animals provide us with on a daily basis. And of course, if you want to keep up with more stories like this, subscribe to the channel. So you can stay up to date with everything that's going on here. You will always be receiving the content that touches the heart, and it underscores the importance of adding value to our fellow believers. Your support makes a big difference, because together, we can spread a message of hope, protection, and love that will help you strengthen this connection is so special. After all of this, I want you to know that your best days are still to come. Here, the story continues, and you are a part of it. Then continue on to me, because he has so much more to discover about this unique relationship between humans and their best friends. I now want to go more in depth on this topic, which is so loaded with emotion and revelation. Because a lot of times, people think that loyalty is something that can be measured by words, gestures, or actions that are visible. But in fact, it is a connection that transcends all understanding to make sense. When the dog has stayed by the side of the owner's hurt, and he didn't do it out of obligation, but by an instinctive understanding of the man, the one with the four-legged friend, she needed protection, care, and companionship. And in this connection, that invisible force that binds beings and as it reveals a true love, the one who is born of the heart, the words of the convention, or even in times of ease. The scene of the accident, the more dire than it has been also. He reveals a part of the journey that we all face in your life, with unexpected moments of vulnerability and stress tests in mind. And if you look at how the dog reacted, it is evident that the strength of the relationship is true, is not measured by time and circumstances, but because of what she is capable of, and transform in the face of adversity. Each and every bark, every posture of a firm's dog seems to communicate something that words could never express, that, right there, at that moment, the bond was stronger than any external threat. It's almost as if they were living in some kind of battle. They are silent, where loyalty is the only weapon that can turn the fear to hope, of despair, of courage. The impact of the story will be in addition to the time of the accident. It makes us think about our own decisions, and about the importance of cultivating relationships based on truth, empathy, and understanding. After all, how many times have we forgot about the value of these bonds, such as deep roots? They hold our souls, even in the most difficult times. The story of a dog and the owner, we show that, very often, it's not too hard to show how much someone is important to you. A look, a gesture of care, and a constant presence at the side of those who need it, it can be enough to turn a risk into a lesson of unconditional love. And this is where it comes to the question of how our minds influence our attitudes toward life. Because when you see a scene that's so pure truth, we are invited to think about, does it really matter in our journey? What can we learn from these examples of strength and a connection to the strengthening of our own decisions? The truth hides behind a story like this is that the processing that we want to have in life, it starts many, many times with small daily actions, with the choices of the value of the people really matter, and to act with more empathy. The lesson for what it is that as soon as that dog is, you can be in control of the story of an impact in the lives of others, be it our family, friends, or even strangers. Because deep down, we all carry a spark of loyalty and love which, if well fed, she has the power to create profound changes. And this is the journey of the connection and courage. It is a daily choice, a decision. You put your heart on the front of it all. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the story of loyalty, love, and the connection is true. It goes far beyond what we can imagine at first glance." These pictures, those are the attitudes of a dog. It carries a powerful message that a lot of times it's hidden in the routine of our day-to-day life. The truth is hidden behind the gesture, as simple as a dog standing on the side of the owner of the injured person. It reveals a transformation from the inside, which he does not realize that the power of the human-animal bond is a never-ending source of hope and strength. When you think about the journey of someone who goes through a traumatic experience, we are aware that the decisions that we make in this moment, it is vital for that we can move forward. And what does this story tell us? That even in the darkest hours, the loyalty of a truant is able to light the way, bring an understanding of the impact of an attitude of genuine. You can generate countless details. A connection to you. This dog has such a spontaneous and visceral. This is a lesson that our actions, however small they may seem, have the potential to change the world. The instinct of self-protection, which is often considered to be just one survivor, the truth, reveals the essence of the most in-depth. An instinctive understanding of what a loved one is in need of us, no matter what the circumstances. This revelation leads us to question our own decisions about our mentality in the face of those moments that require the courage to be real. Because a lot of times we get stuck in our own limitations, to the doubts and the fear of the act, keeping in mind that the real transformation begins when we choose to act from the heart. The story also gives a behind-the-scenes of a day that is not often seen in the eyes of the public, but what happens silently in the everyday lives of the people who live in a relationship of loyalty is genuine. It is, in the routine, which is built on the true strength of the ties that wrap mind protection with no conditions. It is at this point that we realized that the choices we make in times of crisis, they reveal our true nature, our essence. With the courage of a dog is that you do not give up to his master, even in the face of danger. It is a metaphor of light, which, when we are aligned with what is true and right, we are able to overcome any obstacle. As we reflect on this story, we can see that the transformation does not occur only at the time of the crisis. It begins with the way we look at life, in our desire to be true to your values, even when no one is looking. Every decision, every act of love, however small they may seem to you, it constructs a narrative of the impact that resonates in our history and the stories of the people around us, and above all, in the history of those who, like the family dog, teach us that loyalty is one of the most important virtues we can develop. It is within this understanding that it is a revelation, that the strength of the connection is true. It is able to transform lives and build a bridge, the unseen in between, the love, the courage, and the hope that we have in ourselves. And when I think about all of this, it is clear that this is a journey of loyalty. It's a daily choice, a choice to be present, to protect you and to love you unconditionally. Because deep down, the real transformation begins when we recognize that the most profound impact that we can make is the one that comes from the heart. It spills over in the form of the action, simple but full of meaning. And so, we are reflecting on what is really important in our history, and knowing that sometimes the most important lesson comes from those who, without speaking a word, it shows us the value of loyalty is unwavering. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me." Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the story of loyalty, which we are exploring. It reveals a dimension that goes well beyond the simple act of being physically next to someone in a time of crisis. It leads us to reflect on the true essence of transformation that occur in our own lives when we allow ourselves to connect with the things that it is genuine, with the values that underpin our journey of growth. Many of the times, for the transformation, the more powerful it happens quietly, behind the scenes from our daily lives, details that seem small, but they load a giant impact on our way of thinking. It is at those moments in which we decide to act with courage, and that we reveal our true strength. And this power, when in line with the love and loyalty, you have the potential to create a change in its internal structure, which is reflected in our daily actions, in the way we think about obstacles, and how we interact with the people around you. When you think of the story of the dog and the owner, we have realized that it also shows us that the decisions we make in the moments of vulnerability that shape not only who we are, but who we can become. The decision-making of that dog, stay strong, to protect his human, even in the face of danger, and it demonstrates the true power of a person or animal, is at the discretion which it is to act with integrity, even when everything seems to be falling apart. In this posture, this protective instinct and love reveals the true, hidden. That is our essence, is revealed precisely in those moments when we are called upon to exert our utmost courage. Just like a mirror, this story invites us to reflect on our own decisions, and those often seem to be small, but they carry an impact that can change lives. And to go even deeper in this topic, we realize that the journey of loyalty, protection, and love isn't something that happens by accident. It is built on a day-to-day, with a choice of mindful and open-minded, and to recognize the value of the other, even in those moments when everything seems to be falling apart. It is in the face of adversity that we discover who we really are, and what you are willing to make in order to preserve what we believe to be the most important thing. This story shows us that the real transformation is not only in great things or in the moments of glory, but it's also the most subtle of the loyalty quiet, which shows that even the most vulnerable we stay true to what we believe in, and that we love it. This discussion leads us to realize that our journey of growth, it is, in fact, a lot of everyday decisions that shape our way of thinking and defining our position in the face of the world. When we act with love, courage, and loyalty, we are feeding an inner transformation that enables us to tackle any challenge. After all, it is the strength of a connection is true. It is able to create deep roots that sustain our lives, and strengthening our ability to overcome obstacles, to protect what we love, and to keep alive the flame of hope, even in the most difficult moments. In this way, the environmental impact of our actions that reverberates in the lives of others, and leaving an indelible mark in essence, we are all connected by a web of invisible love and transformation. And then, when you think about it, everything becomes clear that the truth, which we are exploring, it is also a powerful lesson for our whole strength, lies in our ability to be true to your values, even when no one is looking. Because deep down, it is those moments of decision-making, courage, and protection which they define who we are, in fact. These are the moments in which they reveal whether we are in line with what you believe in, or are we just living in a hook without a purpose. Such a deep emotional connection with what is real, what really matters to you, it makes all the difference in our journey of evolution to shape a mindset which appreciates the value of unconditional love, loyalty, and authenticity. And all of this leads us to think more broadly, as we, in our day-to-day, and to strengthen that inner strength. That courage is to protect and to love without conditions, to which our actions can inspire others to also live a story of an impact. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the story of loyalty, protection, real. It reveals a dimension that is too often overlooked in the rush of day-to-day, but it is critical to understand who we really are. The power of a genuine connection does not come only from the moment when in crisis or in an extreme case. Rather, it is built up over the course of time, the small actions of daily life, in the way that we choose to provide, protect, and cherish those who love you. This story shows us that, even vulnerability, we reveal an inner strength that many times we don't know until you are put in the face of a reality check. It is then that we realize how much our choices, however small they may seem, have a profound impact on our way of processing. Each and every gesture of care, each and every act of loyalty, it is a seed that we plant in our minds, shaping who we are and who we can become in the face of adversity. To understand the magnitude of this type of connection also makes us think about the truth hidden behind our own actions. Many of the times we believe it to be true, or to protect someone, it's something that depends on particular circumstances or moments in time. But the truth is that this loyalty is present in every decision-making in daily, even to those who seem to be small or negligible. When we act with love, with courage, even without any recognition or reward for, we are nurturing an inner transformation, which manifests itself in the way we face our own unique challenges. It is as if each and every action of the loyalty to be a bridge to the invisible, which connects to what we believe is the real impact we can make in the lives of others. And the bridge is strengthened to the extent that we have cultivated a mindset of integrity, self-esteem, and empathy, which enables us to act in a way that is more conscious. And it is true, even in the times that are most difficult. This is a journey of self-discovery has also revealed that it is our own story of life is made up of many small choices that together, they create a narrative of the impact and the meaning of it. The story of a dog and the owner is a powerful metaphor in order to understand that, in essence, we are all capable of playing the role of a guardian, a protector, someone who can make a difference in the lives of those who trust in him. And you have the capacity to protect does not depend on the strength of the physical or external resources. It is born of the spirit is strong, and of a belief in the inner of the faithful, and love can transform reality to create deep-rooted, and the strengthening of the bonds that stand the test of time, and in the face of difficulties. When we realize this, we can begin to understand that true transformation is not only in the change of the external environment, but in a change from the inside to the outside, in our desire to be faithful to our own truths, our emotions, and our choices are the most needed. To deepen this discussion, it is clear that many of the times, it is the greatest battle that we face is the one fought within ourselves, between the fear of taking action, the question of what is right, and the uncertainty of what our actions may not make a difference. But stories like this show us that the courage to remain faithful to protect, to love unconditionally, it is a decision we make every day, no matter what is around us. It's a matter of mindset, an interior layout that drives us to do the best, even when no one is looking. Because deep down, that this is the true essence of transformation is to recognize it, we are able to make a difference in the lives of others simply by being true to our convictions and act from the heart. And this is the strength that comes from within. It really helps prepare you for the difficult times, the ones that challenge us to become the best version of ourselves, and with courage, loyalty, and love. And when I think about all of this, it is clear that in this connection, loyalty and protection is a powerful force for transformation. It is a real journey of self-discovery that shows you how you can be able to have a positive impact on the lives of those who rely on us. Each and every decision to protect, to care, to love, this is an opportunity to strengthen the connection to the unseen, which we connect to each other. And that makes you more human, more empathetic. Because at the end of the day, the biggest revelation of all, it is the power of a genuine connection that is not dependent on external conditions, but it's a commitment that we take in what we believe to be the most important thing: love and loyalty, and steadfast, and the courage to be true to yourself. And therefore we reflect on it, because this is a journey of transformation. You are just starting out, and that it is continuous and fed by each of conscious choice that we make to live a more authentic and genuine. He writes in, "I'm on this journey too." Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the real transformation, is what this story reveals is not only of courage in the dog of the owner of the injured, but on the understanding that loyalty is a daily choice, a decision that shapes our way of thinking and defining who we really are. Many of the times we believe that loyalty is manifested only in moments of great in-stock hero or acts of sacrifice to the extreme, but the truth is hidden. It is what it is built in on the details, in the small decisions that we make along our way. Every action of the protection, care, and love that show, even in those hours when no one is looking at it, it strengthens our inner selves, and to strengthen the impact we can have on someone's life. This is the story of a little dog, for example. It shows you the strength of a connection is true. It does not come from the words or empty promises, but its sincere commitment to be present to protect you and to love you no matter what, even in the face of fear, vulnerability, or of the danger. When we reflect on the decisions that you make in a routine, we see that they are the true foundations of our inner transformation. It's in the way you have chosen to act in the face of a situation of risk or difficulty with which we have revealed in our true mind. Perhaps in time of peace it is easy to demonstrate that affection, loyalty, and courage, but the most important thing is how we respond when everything seems to be falling apart. It is at this moment that you in our choices, the more valuable will appear, showing you if you have a mentality that is strong enough to uphold our values, and we are aligned with what we believe to be the most important thing. This is a journey of self-discovery, tells us that real change happens from the inside to the outside, when we choose to cultivate an attitude of integrity, courage, and a love that exceeds any of the circumstances on the outside. With this understanding, it also brings an important breakthrough. A lot of times, you are the main responsible for the shaping of our history and the impact that we leave on the world around us. And that responsibility starts with the decisions we have made in the routine and the way in which we deal with our own emotions, our self-doubt, and fears. The story of a dog that does not leave its owner, it is a powerful metaphor in order to understand that in essence, you can be in control of the transformation, which influences not only our own lives, but also that of those around us. Any act of allegiance, every gesture of protection, it is a seed that we plant in our minds, strengthening the role of courage in preparation for the moment of the challenge. And when you understand it, and we believe that's true, strength is not measured only by what you do, great, but the ability to keep our values as a firm, even when everything seems to be against us. The journey of transformation, and therefore, it is a solid construction, made with small daily choices that strengthen who we are, in fact. This story teaches us that in order to stay loyal to what you believe in and that we love them, we're nurturing an inner strength, capable of withstanding the storms, the hardest. It's a matter of mindset, to choose to act with your heart and focus on what really matters to you. And the more you feed it an attitude like this, the more powerful it becomes, creating deep roots that sustain our lives and influence the way in which as the face of adversity. Because deep down, the biggest revelation is that the transformation is the most significant one of the conscious decisions, of being true to our inner truths, to protect what we love, and to act with courage, even in the moments of life. This attitude, and quiet most of the time, they are the ones that shape the story of the impact of true love and the loyalty that goes beyond any barrier. And so, as we think about all of this, it is clear that, in this connection, loyalty and protection is a powerful force of transformation, a journey that brings out the best in ourselves when we act with courage and authenticity. Because at the end of the day, our mission is to cultivate this mentality is that of loyalty, and it will not run out of words, but it manifests itself in the actions of everyday life, the routine, and how we protect it, and we love it. And in doing so, we are building up a story that goes far beyond what we can imagine. A story that it inspires, it moves, and that leaves a long-lasting mark on our path of life. In a story that shows that when we are aligned with our deepest values, we are able to create the real impact of changing lives and strengthening our own personal journey of growth. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that is the path of loyalty and courage that we are exploring. It reveals a truth that hides many of the times. It is hidden in the routine of everyday life. The truth is that our decision-making, especially in the hour of their vulnerability, they have a much bigger impact than we could ever imagine. Each and every choice we make, every moment of the protection or care, it is a seed that we plant in our own history, and to shape our way of thinking and the influence of the impact that we leave on the world around us. When we realize that the true strength of a person's or an animal's capacity to remain true to your values, even in the face of fear or danger, we can begin to understand that this is the essence of the real. This change doesn't happen from one time to another. It is built up gradually, in small, everyday actions that enhance our environment, our principles, and our connection with what we believe to be the most important thing. Think about the history of the dog. It also leads us to reflect on the behind the scenes of this action, quiet, protective. Many of the times, we believe it to be true, it just means being present in the challenging moments. But the truth is, that loyalty, that is a solid construction. It's a constant decision to act. The courage not to give in to the temptation to give up or to get away when everything seems to be falling apart. This requires a mindset, strong, which takes full advantage of his unconditional love and truth, up to any of the circumstances on the outside. This unseen force which is born of the conviction within, it is able to transform into not only our past, but it's also the story of those who depend on us. When you have the clarity to realize that our actions, however small they may seem, have a potential impact is immeasurable, and that is able to generate a chain of influence that extends far beyond what we can see at the moment. To deepen this understanding, it becomes clear that the journey of transformation that we are not only in great things or at the time of its glory. It shows the consistency of our decision-making to the fidelity with which we choose to follow our own values, even when everything around us seems to indicate that we should give up on them. This is a lesson that the universe provides us with a constant, thus showing that true strength lies in the endurance, the courage to stand on the side of those who love him, even when fear and danger seem to be the biggest. A story of loyalty and protection, which we are reviewing, is a powerful metaphor in order to understand that, in essence, we are all capable of having a profound impact on people's lives just by being true to what we believe in. And that allegiance, when, under the consciousness, which becomes a force that compels us to evolve, to grow, and to create a transformation that goes far beyond what we could ever imagine. In this connection, the love, courage, and fidelity, it also shows that many, many times, the greatest impact we can make is in our own mindset. When we learn to appreciate the small actions and recognize the power of our decision-making, and to understand that true transformation comes from a commitment to that which is most sincere and true, you begin to notice a change. And this, in turn, influences all around us, creating a current in the positive impact that can be life-changing, history, and even entire communities. It is a journey of self-discovery, which is about having the courage to face up to their own set of limitations, but it also gives you the opportunity to discover an inner power and strength that a lot of times we don't even know I had. This force is provided by our own decisions to protect and love us, that is able to take root deep within our souls, to sustain us in difficult times, and to give us the clarity that we are moving in the right direction. When you think about it, we realize that it's the true transformation is also in the way that we see the impact of our actions in the outside world. Each and every decision, however small it may seem, it has the potential to create a significant change in one's life. When we act with courage, faithfulness, and unconditional love, we're all about helping you build a narrative and the impact of a story that inspires you. And that is the proof that it is the strength of a connection is true. It is able to overcome any obstacle. This is a journey of growth, and therefore, it is an ongoing process that requires the attention of our daily decisions and an open-mindedness to learning constant. To develop this approach, we begin to realize what is the most lasting impact on not only the big gestures or historical records, but the sum of small efforts, of loyalty and care, and together, they create a real revolution in the house. This is a revolution that is able to transform into not only our past, but also the lives of those who are next to us, confirming that, at the bottom, the biggest impact of all is the one who is born of the heart, and in our willingness to be faithful to what we believe to be the truth, the more in depth. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line." Because that is the true essence of the transformation in this story. He reveals to us is the strength of the decisions that you make in a routine. Those actions are often invisible, but it carries a heavy burden in the construction of our authenticity and the impact we can make. When we reflect on what it really does make a difference, we've realized that it's not just the grand gestures or the highlights, but it's the sum of small actions of bravery, loyalty, and love that we practice every day. So they seem to be as simple or even trivial to have a knock-on effect. It helps to shape our minds, strengthen our core values, and consequently, they influence the way we face the most complex challenges. The story of a dog next to the owner's wounded, however, teaches us that loyalty is true. It is not something that is achieved at the same time, but with a commitment to continuous increases in the decision-making of the act with integrity, even when everything around you seems to fall apart. To understand these dynamics is critical, because too often we allow ourselves to be carried away by the fear, the doubt, or even for a routine, keeping in mind that our daily choices have the power to make the journey. It's the small actions to protect, in order to stay on the side someone who needs it, when it is built on a mindset of an impact. This mentality is what is the difference between those who just goes through the life of the one who really makes a difference. When we adopt an attitude of loyalty and courage, we can begin to see that the transformation does not need to be bound to do or to spend some time in the spotlight. It is an unspoken, which takes place on the rack of your emotions and actions in their everyday lives to strengthen our core values and is firmly rooted in our experiences. Thus, each of the decision to protect you, to love you unconditionally, it becomes a seed of hope, that the origin of our own souls and to spread to the world in ways that oftentimes we can't even imagine. To deepen this understanding, it becomes clear that the real impact comes from a mindset that focuses on the authenticity, integrity, and a commitment to what we believe to be the most important thing. This mentality is not something which can be acquired at one time or another, but it is a solid construction made of choices and a commitment to courage to face the adversities of life. It is during this process that we discovered is that our strength lies not only in the ability to resist it, but the provision of the act for the purpose of protecting those we love to stay true to our inner truths, even when the circumstances seem to be to the contrary. An act of loyalty, no matter how small, is a statement that is quiet, that no matter what happens, we make a commitment to that which is most real and precious to us. This approach not only strengthens us in our journey of self-discovery, but it also has a direct influence on the impact that we leave on the story to someone else. This connection between the choices on a daily and long-term impact reveals the true hidden. It's the true transformation happens, the sum of the little things, the consistency of the attitudes that reflect our core. When we choose to act with courage and loyalty, we are forging a mentality that is resilient, able to withstand the storms, the hardest to protect those who rely on us to love without limits. And in doing so, we create a chain of influence that extends beyond our own self-story. Each and every gesture of loyalty to each point of protection, it is like a seed that germinates and spreads, putting down roots deep into the lives of those who come to us with them. Thus, we see that the greater the force of the transformation is genuine, is the consistency between what we believe and what we do in the position that we will remain true to our convictions, even when the world challenges us to give up. This is a journey that does not end up with a really great achievement, but that it is built day by day, and the courage to be authentic and true to our own truth. And it is during this time that we found out that the impact is more powerful and comes from a mindset that appreciates the value of unconditional love, loyalty, and the courage to act from the heart, as it is, so it really helps to shape a story of a long-lasting impact. He comments that it makes no sense to me. Right now, I want you to go deeper in the subject line, because that's the story of loyalty, protection for true out to us, with a revelation that often lies hidden in the routine of daily life, but it has the power to transform the way in which we look at life. The truth hides behind all of this connection is sincere. That is, our everyday decisions, however small it may seem, it carries a force that shapes our journey of growth and influence. Each and every gesture of care, each and every act of loyalty, there is only a time, but it is a seed that we plant in our minds, strengthening our core and firmly rooted in the that you are, in fact. When you look at the example of the dog next to the owner's herding, we felt that the loyalty that he was not born in a time when isolated, but in a way that has grown in the course of a lifetime, for a routine to be present, to protect you and to love you unconditionally. This is the routine of a small good deeds, which over time becomes a solid foundation for a transformation of the interior, able to withstand the storms, the hardest. This understanding leads us to reflect about how we are making our own history and the day-to-day. Many of the times, we believe that change comes from large events or of moments of impact, but the fact remains that it is the choices we make in the simplicity of everyday life. They are the choice of the act up to. Stay true to your values. Even when everything around you seems to fall apart, they discover the true power that we have. Because it is the essence of the transformation is to act with authenticity, even when no one else is watching. Even when doubt tries to engulf us, or the fear paralyzes us. When you choose to protect someone, to love without conditions, or simply to maintain our posture truth, we are fueling the inner strength that makes it an endless source of courage and hope. And what's amazing is that these actions, the seemingly small, will have a ripple effect that reverberates in the lives of others in a way far more profound than we can imagine. Your journey of growth is, in that sense, it is a solid construction that requires us to be open-minded and a willingness to learn and grow. Each of the decision to protect you, to be honest, act with love, and it is an opportunity to strengthen the invisible force that connects us to the world and the people around you. When we realize that our actions have an impact that goes far beyond the present moment, we begin to appreciate even more the power of our choices. On this journey, it also shows that a true transformation is not something that is achieved at one time or another, but it's something that, if committed in the routine, the everyday actions that show who we are to the truth. This attitude of loyalty and courage, it's a design that requires persistence, dedication, and above all, a mindset that the most lasting impact comes from the shares to be genuine and honest. In the process, I'm beginning to understand that our strength is the consistency between what we believe, what we know, and what we do. To deepen this discussion, we see that in this connection of love, loyalty, and courage, a powerful force of transformation in that it serves in our lives. It turns out that the most profound impact will not necessarily be in grand gestures or big, but in the sum of small efforts that strengthen our authenticity and our response to protect those who rely on us. This idea of loyalty to the daily is the one that prepares us to face any obstacle, because it makes us stand fast in the truth, even in the face of adversity, the more severe. When we do that, we not only strengthened our journey of self-discovery, but also to inspire others to reconnect with what really matters to you. And in doing so, we came to understand that true transformation happens when we have the courage to be true to our feelings, our values, our decisions, the more valuable. This is the force which is born of the heart. It is able to create a root that supports the core, strengthening our ability to withstand the storms of life, and we leave a positive mark on the history of those who came with it. You realize all this will lead you to a more in-depth understanding of the impact we can make in the lives of others begins in our own minds, in the way that we have decided to take action on a day-to-day. When we cultivate an attitude of loyalty, courage, and unconditional love, we are fueling the inner strength that makes it a real fight, the fear, doubt, and uncertainty. This force is provided by our actions in everyday life. It gives us the clarity that we can be in control for a change, which influence not only our history, but also the one to whom it is up to us. An act for the protection, loyalty, and true love is the seed that is to germinate, spreading its roots deep into the souls of those who live in it. Thus, we see that the greatest change of all is the one that comes from within us, from our willingness to be true to our own truths, and to act with courage, and to protect those we love. When you do it in a conscious way, we are building a new narrative of the impact of a truth, a story that it inspires, it moves, and it boosts the strength of a connection that goes beyond any barrier. He comments that, "It makes no sense to me." If you've come this far, it's because of that history has touched in any way to your heart and brought to a reflection on the value of loyalty, of love, and of all the small actions that make a big difference in our life and the life of someone else that you trust. I believe that these stories remind us that even when times are difficult, it's our attitude, courage, and fidelity that is not who we really are. So if you get this message, it made sense to you, leave your comment below. This can be a word, an experience, or simply a confirmation of what you believe, that true love is in the attitudes of the day. Oh, and if you that, this content is brought to you for some insight, a sense of hope, or even an inspiration for one like the fact it makes all the difference for this type of story, please continue reaching out to more people. If you enjoy the content that speaks about the connection of values and what really matters to you, then you probably know this, right? Subscribe to the channel to not miss the next videos. The idea here is to always bring you the stories that make us think what you want, and that it reinforces the power of an open heart and an attitude of courage. Stay with me, because there's a video right here on the side which complements this subject. You can click and keeps me up there, so we can keep on learning and reflecting together on those bonds that unite us as much as true. Thank you for being here until the end, to devote this time on the story, and to be a part of this community that appreciates the value of love, loyalty, and the power of a genuine connection. I hope to see you in the next video, with more of the stories that can inspire and reinforce what is really important in our long walk. Until then, Please continue to believe in the strength of his heart and the beauty of the act with courage and love.